Good afternoon, grown folks, and welcome to Relationship Talk with Tish. I am Tish, and I just want to jump right in. Have you ever had an experience with a loved one where they said or did something that warranted an apology, clearly, meaning they said or did something that they should be circling back if they had any self awareness? They would circle back and apologize, right? Have you ever had this kind of encounter with a loved one and they would rather avoid you or ignore your calls or texts than to apologize? If you have experienced something similar, then hang out with your sister for a while because I want to unpack a little scenario that happened to me. I had been kind of keeping it to myself, but hey, why? Why not? Why not share? Because I know that someone somewhere is probably experiencing the same thing. So when you come in the room, please tap the screen if you're here live. Let me know that you're here by giving me some hearts, and let's jump right in. So I had a scenario where a loved one was hospitalized, and I inquired. I was called and notified, and was told, "Hey, this loved one was hospitalized." And immediately, I asked, "Am I able to go visit?" And I was told, "No, not yet. I'll get back to you and let you know." I just realized I don't have my wedding ring on. Whoa, we don't do that, but something bit my finger. Okay, but anyway, yeah. So I was told that they would get back to me on when I could visit. This side of my hair is looking a little frazzled. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And then that person's child was having a special celebration. And I found out that that special celebration was still on. So I did all that I could do to go support that child because that's what I do, right? I try to show up and support when I can, where I can. When I don't show up to support, it's usually a physical reason behind it, like a reason, like I'm not feeling well. After my slip in the bathtub, it's been rough. So I tell people, listen. I do my best, and if it's not good enough, it's just not good enough. So anyway, so I went to support the child, and there was like a movement among everybody. Like they were kind of hastily moving, and they mentioned that they were getting ready to go to the hospital to see the loved one. But would you believe I still didn't know what hospital? Well, let me rewind. Hello, thanks for joining. Tap the screen, give me some love. Talking about accountability today. So prior to me going to support the family, there was a phone call that I received, and I was told in this phone call, "Hey, how you been? Da, 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 da. You know, X is in the hospital. Yeah, everybody's going to see X. X, you know, have you been there yet?" And I responded, no, I don't know where it is. Can you tell me? Oh, nobody's really going. I think it's like it was a total downplay of who was visiting X, right? But it was just said this person visited this person. They all been up there visiting X, right? So your girl wasn't born yesterday, so I knew immediately that it was some shade involved, right? That person realized immediately there was some shade involved because they was like, "Oh, Tish, I'm gonna call you right back." Yeah, right. I have not received a call from that person since. That was in May, y'all. That was in May. So, like I said, we fast forward. There was an event at this person's house. I go to the event. I'm supporting the youngin', and everybody's kind of buzzing and moving. And I see the matriarch like making a dash down the street, and I'm like, okay, where everybody going? So I overheard someone saying that they were going to visit X at the hospital. Mind you, I still didn't know what hospital X was in. I decided, hey, I am not going to disturb my peace by inserting myself into a situation. Like, can y'all tell me where, when it was clear that that wasn't what was happening? Okay, so I leave. I then followed up with some texts like, "Hey, how's X doing? Can X have visitors now?" Since I heard X is having visitors now. Can somebody give me the information? Crickets. I have not received a response since. Hey, someone said, "Hey, Queen. Hey, how are you?" Praying all is well with everyone. I'm sitting here talking about accountability, and I'm sharing a personal story that happened to me not long ago. And it's really speaking to how people will avoid you to avoid apologizing to you, even when they know that you have wronged them, or they have wronged you. I'm sorry. Even when they know they have wronged you. If you could tap, or they have wronged you. I'm sorry. Even when they know they have wronged you. If you could tap the here, I do have a little goal of earning some roses. I am new to TikTok Live. I'm trying to build my platform and talk to you guys more. It is my goal to build relationships, to repair relationships so that we can repair our communities. Our communities are suffering. Our communities are suffering. Um, Yes, if you could please like, tap the screen. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. You can share. Um, Thank you. I got my first gift. Someone just sent me a gift. Thank you. Just me, I think it says. I am also visually impaired. If you see these specs here, baby, I am visually impaired. So if I miss a comment or some love that you shared, please forgive me. But I thank you. Just Me got the first badge. Thank you so much, Just Me. I really appreciate it. So yeah, it's unfortunate when people would much rather avoid you than to take accountability for harming you or hurting you, right? This family member of mine was a close family member. Like, why the weirdness? Why am I not able to visit this person in a hospital? Why am I not able to even know what hospital this person is? My jam is to go and pray with somebody or pray for somebody, right? And so me and this person pray together all the time. Why could I not do that with this person? Because someone decided that they have some kind of issue with me, so they wanted to keep me from going, right? Everybody else, everybody's been there. Have you been yet? Like, what part of the shade is that, right? You know I haven't been because I don't know where it is. And I am just, oh, what's up, Kaz? That's Jamel. Thank you, baby. How you been, baby? Yeah, I am talking about a real life story that happened to me, and I'm just not that chick to press myself to be in the presence of people that's just showing me shade. Thank you, cuz. Good looking out. I am doing this TikTok live thing. I'm new to TikTok live. I've been live on Instagram many times. I've even had guests on Instagram, but I just decided to turn the camera on, and cuz is gonna get me to my goal by himself. Go ahead with your bad self. I hate that I missed the reunion. I didn't know that it was still happening. I thought it would may have been canceled because of the person that was planning it wasn't feeling well, and so I had made plans for the day. But hate I missed you guys there if you were there. But I look forward to the next gathering. Send me the invite. I'll be there. Um, so I think it is very important for us to get to a point where we balance, right? There's a such thing as showing grace. I'm a Christian. I'm a woman that believes that um, I should have a level of grace toward people as I expect them to have that grace toward me, and I do. But I'm also a human, and I believe that if you show me shade, if you show me that my presence is not welcome, then you can enjoy my absence because I believe in now only putting myself in places and spaces where I am desired, not where I'm tolerated. I don't want the whisper chatter like how she found out about this, how she get here. no way, no ham, no ham, no ham, no turkey, no turkey, no turkey. No, we're not doing that. I am intentional about which invitations I accept. I am intentional about who I have in my space, who I invite to my home. I'm very intentional about those things. And I've been a lot more gracious in years past. And I just don't have the patience for that. There's a lot going on in my life, and I don't have time for it. I don't have time for the craziness. But there have been several stories that I could share. But I would love to hear from you guys. Tell me, have you had these experiences? I know I'm not the only one. Have you had experiences where someone did you wrong? They owe you money. They didn't do what they said they was gonna do. They backbit you and put some dirt in the streets about you, or slandered your name or your character. And they would rather avoid you than to make that thing right because they know they wrong. Happens all the time, right? It happens all the time. And knowing you, you probably like, peace. I'm moving on. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm going fishing. I'm going to catch me some big fish, and I'm going to live my life and let them stay where they be, right? And that's kind of where I am with it. Let them stay where they be. I must say, when my mom transitioned, I got to see different things and different people that I just wish she was here that I could share with her and be like, Mom, you know what? You said such and such years ago, and I didn't quite latch on to that, or, I just wanted to see for myself. Well, I have seen for myself with a lot of situations. There's so much I wish I could tell my mom and dad. I'm thankful that my mom was no nonsense. She believed in accountability, and that's why this message is titled Accountability. My mom be like, "No, you full of shit. No, get out my face. Like, what you? I ain't breaking my neck to be around those ninjas. Those ninjas don't give a darn about me. I don't care about them. Like, my mom had that very strong um attitude, right? And she'll tell you to your face. Like, you're full of ish. You can stay up. No, I'm good. No, I'm not coming to your event. No, I'm gonna stay over here because I don't feel like the BS today. Like, that was my mom's attitude, and so I'm kind of taking on more of that as my mentality. I am over 50. I'm a woman of a particular age. I'm deciding to let my hair, my grays grow in, so you can tell I got a little wisdom under my belt. I know my demographic. Some of you guys are younger. I know you guys have had experiences where people have not taken accountability too. You guys may have seen a video that I put up. There's a big trend of millennials and Gen Xers wanting accountability from the adults around them. Their adult parents have been on drugs or whatever, and they are not comfortable talking about the damage that caused to their lives, right? How difficult it was for them to navigate the world because their parent wasn't there, or they're still as an adult worried about their adult parent because they haven't put down the alcohol, they haven't put down the drugs, right? So I have friends that have had parents that were in addiction, and they shared what that meant to them, what that did to their lives, right? They were crushed. They were crushed. In fact, I have a loved one that I explained to him, like, listen, your kids are struggling because you weren't there. And when you were there, you were preoccupied. And I try to tell the kids, listen, no person, if you name the word addiction inside of your gripe with your loved one, then you have to give grace for that space because they're not choosing addiction. Addiction chose them, right? And that is really a disease and a sickness. And I found that sometimes people are in a place of saying, there's no accountability. They won't even, they still doing that. They choose that over me. They didn't come to my wedding. They didn't come to my prom. They didn't, because they choosing that over me, and they don't mean to do that. In those instances where there is addiction associated with it, that might be a different story. However, for someone who alleges to be clean, for someone who alleges who had walked the steps, the 12 steps of addiction or recovery, right? For those to not atone with their loved ones. At that point, your loved ones should get all the accountability that they have been desiring from years past. You don't get to just start fresh with people after you've hurt them repeatedly over and over and over again. You've lied, you've stolen, you've been MIA, you've missed activities, you've missed events. You don't get to just walk away scot free. If you claim you're clean, then part of your sobriety should be atoning, should be the accountability. Like, listen, I am sorry. Let me share another story with y'all. My dad and mom had a nasty breakup. They had a nasty breakup. But I will tell you one thing. My dad got to a point in his life. So, rewind. My dad would say he was coming and didn't show up. It was heartbreaking. You're like at the window, looking out the window, waiting. Is dad gonna walk up? Is dad gonna walk up? Dad come to get me? Dad come to see me? Da 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 da. Everything's gonna be okay. No, it wasn't. My sister and I were crushed time and time and time and time again, waiting for dad to come, and he did not show up. But guess what? There came a time in our lives where dad said, "You know what? You know what? I won't miss another event. I won't miss another function. I won't miss another award ceremony. I will not. Please forgive me. I was wrong. I fell short. Please forgive me. And you have my word that moving forward, that won't happen again." My dad told me a man only has his word and his balls. If a man is not giving you his word, he's not standing true to his word, then you don't want to be around that man. Now, that was probably hypocritical coming from my mom, because my mom had her way or her viewpoint of dad, and him not taking accountability with her, him not being totally honest with her, his word not standing on what it was supposed to be with her, right? But with us, at least he tried. At least he went through the motions of sitting us down, saying I was wrong. Do you know how many children would be burden free or have the burden lifted off of them if you would just sit down with them and say, you know what, I made a mistake. I know I didn't parent perfectly. Let me hear what your gripes are with me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't do it right. If I could do it over again, I would change some things. This is what I was going through. If you, as a parent, would say that to your child, do you know the level of release that you could give if that child is open to hearing you? And that's a big if, because there's a saying. What is this hair? Where is it? There's a saying that your trauma may not be your fault, but your recovery is absolutely your responsibility. I believe that wholeheartedly. Your trauma may not be your fault, but your recovery is your responsibility. If you could, thank you so much for tapping the screen. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I am new to doing live. I'm in there with some likes up there, so I really appreciate the love. But yeah, I think, like I said, there's a big if. If you are an adult that's willing to apologize to your adult, particularly if they're young adults themselves, or they may be moms and dads themselves, but they still have this burden on their shoulders of the absenteeism that you displayed while parenting, the addiction, or whatever the thing was, right? The children can sometimes be so harmed by it, but just an apology can go so far. But to my point, the trauma may not have been your fault, but the recovery or the healing is your responsibility. You have to be willing to heal yourself. And that means you have to be willing to accept an apology when it is offered. You have to be willing to take that into consideration. There was a book that came to me I was introduced to from therapy, and it's called It Didn't Start With You. It Didn't Start With You opened up in such a way that it mimicked what I knew about my mom's life, that I wept. I wept. And I wish I could go to my mom and say, Mom, I get it. Mom, I'm so sorry you went through that. My mom went through so much. She is one of the strongest women I have known. But guess what? She was, because mom has gone to glory. But guess what I know? Mom was stubborn. Mom would not apologize. And for years, I was hung up on this is not cool. This is not fair. You won't acknowledge the areas where you fell short, and it's keeping my sister and I from growing. It's stunning our growth. And you know why I was stunning our growth? Because we were holding on to that and not giving grace, and we had not let it go. It is so unfortunate that I got that knowledge, that understanding. I gained that understanding in 2025. Yes, this year. How disgraceful that I didn't gain the understanding that it didn't start with me, and I needed to take a deeper look into what my mom had been through to understand why she struggled with accountability. My mom had a saying that you can only give what you were given. And then she go on to explain what she was given. And under the circumstances, she gave a whole lot more than she was given. She did. But she didn't give what I needed. And so I held on to that. But I am so blessed to say that while I didn't get the understanding of it didn't start with you, and before mom transition, I did have a softened heart. So when I was able to talk to mom again, and mom was able to take accountability, guess what happened? Y'all, mom apologized, mom affirmed me, and we cried together. We cried together. And what an awesome thing that was. So no matter how hurt I was, how upset I was, it just I turned into a baby all over again. And I received my mom. I forgave her as she apologized and she wept and she explained how hard it was. And guess what? I heard some things about what happened with mom and dad. I had heard some things, and while my mom would just kind of be dismissive of my dad, like F him, my mom never took my dad down through there telling us the things that I heard had happened in their marriage, the things that I recall seeing. My mom never unpacked that. You know what she used to say though? Y'all think he's a saint, and I'm the wrong one. I'm not defending that BS. And that tells me that the mature person that I am today, that's what she was hearing. That we were badgering her for all that we struggled with, because I come from very humble beginnings and we did struggle. That we were abandoning her or blaming her, but we gave dad a pass. We let him off scot free. And that wasn't actually the case. It was just that dad had apologized so much sooner that we were able to bridge the gap and start anew. With my mom refusing to apologize, it was almost like you don't care to hear what's hurting us. And so you're going to see more videos about me with this accountability thing, because not about me, with me and this accountability thing, because I think um, with this trend of no contact and estrangement from parents and kids keeping the parents from grandkids and all that good stuff, with all of that happening, it is it's heartbreaking, and it's interesting. It's important for me to share another side of the story, right? Because I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. I didn't have the best relationship with mom because mom wouldn't take accountability. So it's important for me with my young adult to take accountability, to apologize, to try to make things right. Where I tell my daughter, if I had met you on the street in the state that you are in right now, on some days, I wouldn't like you. But as her mom, I always love her. We have a saying, there's nothing you can do to make me stop loving you. Right now, at this very moment, my daughter owes me an apology, and I'm waiting to get it. I'm going to see just how long she takes to give it to me, too, before I have to remind her. It's been a couple days, too. I didn't stop speaking to her, pray over her before she leave, all that good stuff. But I know that she needs to give me an apology. Dad and I agree that she owes me an apology. But that won't make me stop loving her. I think maturity coupled with accountability is a beautiful thing. We spend so much of our lives blaming others for our situation, our circumstances. I remember when my mom was being stubborn and refusing to go to the doctor, refusing to go to the hospital, and her doctor said, "Tell her if she doesn't come see me, she's gonna find herself in a position where she has to have a leg amputation." For those that know, mom ended up having to have a leg amputation, but that was avoidable. If she had just gone to the doctors and done what she was supposed to do, if she had stopped smoking, she would have been okay. That just took me back. I am so sorry. I just forgot the message or the point I was getting ready to make with that. But um, yeah, I'm sorry. That just really took me back. Even saying those words out my mouth. Um, but yeah, I didn't have the best relationship with mom. I didn't. It was hard growing up. It was hard. I come from very humble beginnings. It was very tough. And I felt mom should have been more receptive. I thought mom could have done more. I thought mom could have showed up more. But guess what? In the grand scheme of things, like I said, accountability plus grace, accountability plus maturity leads to a much greater outcome. There are so many people that just refuse to accept accountability for where they are in life. We blame other folks for our stuff. We do. We blame other folks for our stuff. We blame other folks for our stuff, and some stuff we need to just take accountability for. We need to say, you know what, this happened in my life because I made poor decisions. I'm thinking of an example of maybe a teenage mom. A teenage mom saying, I'm a teenage mom because my mom was a teenage mom. Well, it would have been nice to break the trend, right? But you have to take accountability that you went out and did the grown folks' business. Your mom did it. She had to take accountability, and now you have to take accountability. It's not difficult. It really isn't. If every person took accountability for themselves and for adults raising children, take accountability for your children. There was a time that if your child was out after hours, the parents would be ticketed. There was curfew. Your hind parts weren't in the house. You was out there being grown. That parent got a ticket. There needs to be a revisiting of the accountability in that way. There's a whole lot going on in our cities across the country, not just where I live, across the country. There's a whole lot of going on. There's a whole lot of going on, and there's a whole lot of activity that's happening with young folks who should have some accountability for where they are. There should be some accountability for where they are. You pay for $1,000 or more telephone, and you don't know where they are at every moment. For iPhone users, you can track your child through the iPhone. There are also other apps out here. Life 360 is a great one. You can lock in their location, you can lock in their school, so you know when they get there, when they leave, if they leave in the middle of the day. True story. My daughter had a class on the side of the building that was opposite of where the address was. So at certain times of day, it looked like she was cutting class, honey. This was in high school. It looked like she was cutting class and like out on the street. So I was like, I would FaceTime. She would answer like, Mom, I'm in class. Mom, I'm in class. I can't answer the phone. What are you doing? Why are you calling me? Like, you don't know where I'm at, lady? But she would answer, and I would see she was in class. So then when I went to parent teacher night, I got to see, or back to school night, I got to see where her classes were located, and it made sense because the app allows you to do geofencing. So you have geofencing around a certain radius, right? So when you use like 360, it alerts you, hey, your person has arrived at their location. We even had spots when she caught public. We had those spots plotted out into her schedule. So it would tell us when she got to a central location where she was changing buses or trains. There are ways to track your children. If you are not telling your child, calling your, especially these young men, if you're not calling them saying, show me your back, FaceTiming them saying, show me your background, you are not doing all that you could do to keep them from being in the way. A lot of these young bucks are in the way because they have no accountability. They have no boundary set for them. They go and do as they please, or they lie. And they say they're with cousin such and such, or they're with their friend such and such, and they're doing such and such. We're just playing video games when they're out stealing from Lululemon. You have the ability to track them, and you also have a responsibility. I'll never forget, there was a mother that said, hey, I'm really struggling with my child catching public to the school. It just seems so far. And I was like, yeah, it does. Do you use like 360? And she's like, what's that? So I told her what it was. And she said, well, how'd you put it on her phone? What do you mean? Give me your phone. And I'm putting it on there. What you thought? Oh, did she get mad? I don't care. I learned that she hated it because she felt like it was babying her, and her friends, they used to have this saying that don't become friends with her because her mom will get with your mom, and her mom has an app to erase everything off your phone. No, I didn't. I would erase everything off your phone if I needed to. My child did not have Instagram until ninth grade, like into ninth grade, like in the spring of the ninth grade year. And that was only because she was a basketball star. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your gifts and your hearts. Tapping the screen is free. If you want to send a gift, I really appreciate it. But tapping the screen is free. It costs you nothing. I really appreciate it. It just shows the support. It is difficult for me to see the screen, but I can see that I do have some hearts. I saw that I got some gifts. My cuz stopped through, so I was happy about that. But yeah, parents, you have a responsibility to be accountable for your children. And your children have to know that it's not that I don't trust you, it's just that I am responsible for making sure you don't get caught up. So, accountability is a topic that's far reaching. It is far reaching. It's not just a one and done, hit it and quit it. It is far reaching. But if we took accountability, and just imagine if every household, just take one school, if every household took accountability for making sure that children were where they're supposed to be, when they were supposed to be there, they all use like 360. They knew when they arrived at school, they knew when they left. So that meant cutting class and leaving school was out. You immediately know when that's happening, and you can say, "Hi, where do you think you're going? What are you doing? You pay for the phone. My child is in college, and I still need to know where you're going, what you're doing. Like 360 is still active. It's not okay for it, particularly now. It's so much going on in the world. There are people being snatched off the streets. We need to know where you are. There are a lot of young folks that's in the way. They robbing, they stealing, they killing, they doing drugging, they doing a whole lot of. And it's not just our boys. There are young ladies setting young men up to be robbed, and they're being killed in the process. Why? Because they have no accountability. No one knows where they are and what they're doing. At 16 years old, they should have to check in. If you pay for the phone bill, you should be requiring, if I call you on FaceTime or Duo, you need to respond. And when you don't respond, I'm taking the phone. How about that? I promise you, no young buck is going to not respond. If they got to run outside or change their location, they going to respond. But that means if they don't, you really do have to take the phone. You really do. You can't just allow this foolery to continue. The kids are running the households because the parents aren't taking responsibility and accountability for their children. Let that sink in. If parents knew where their children were, if there was a flash mob somewhere and you call your child, where you at? Let me see your background. It better not be no group of people behind you because now I know you where the flash mob is. Problem. And guess what? Holding your children accountable doesn't start when they 16, 17, 18 years old. Oh, no, no, no. You have to start that process early. They hitting one another, they taking from one another, not playing nicely, all those good things. You have to make them take responsibility. You remember when we were kids and we did something or we hit each other or whatever, and our parents would say sorry, and we would be like, sorry, but we didn't really mean it. All right, hug, but we didn't really mean it. That was their attempt to hold us accountable. So understanding now, let's say you're dating and your dude or your girl does some old weird stuff. Sorry. You should be thinking, oh, that's what I did when I was younger, when I was forced to say sorry. You should be making them take accountability for whatever they did. Name that thing. What are you sorry for? In fact, in my house, I don't even believe in sorry. I apologize for. What are you apologizing for? Because you're not sorry. You're not sorry for two reasons. God didn't make you sorry. And two, I can tell you just gave an apology because you were asked to. It didn't come naturally. We don't push our young folks to accountability. We have to push them to think through things, think through how their actions are impacting others. Right now, it's so much of them. Self, self, self. That is so natural for a teen, period. It's natural. But you add culture, this social media thing, the social media thing and culture is sucking our babies up. They're entitled. They think they're supposed to have things. They think they're supposed to do things a certain way. And you supposed to just stay out their way, stay out their business. I'm just going to go shut my door. No. Stop up steps and slam a door in my house. Your door end up off the hinges and you might end up snapping down the steps. But I don't have to do that because I raised my child. Those things were not acceptable. And she knew I was crazy enough to snatch her down the steps if I had to. Because what you're not going to do is disrespect my home, or me, or your father. So parents, y'all got to start getting with it. Don't just try to be your kid's friend and trust them. I had a good girlfriend. And we were like childhood friends. And her mom was the sweetest lady ever. The sweetest woman you would ever want to meet. My adult good girlfriend, the same person as an adult, she mentioned how she wished that her mom would have held her accountable. She wished her mom would have gave her a little bit more boundaries. I don't think our children are born just to lie, but we're all born in sin. So we don't always move the way we should move, and kids will always push their boundaries. That doesn't make them condemned as bad people. They push their boundaries. It's your responsibility to enforce them. One thing we need to learn throughout life is boundaries are for us to set and they're for us to enforce. If I set up a boundary for you, it's not your responsibility to enforce it, it's mine. That means if I say, if we're dating and you ever put your hands on me, I'm walking away. You put your hands on me, I got to walk away. I cannot stay. I can't stay. I have to enforce those boundaries. If I say cheating is a deal breaker and you cheat and I stay, you're gonna be like, her boundaries are easily moved. We can push her goalposts. So we have to understand. Please tap the screen to show some love. I appreciate it. Thanks for walking in. I see y'all joining. Some come in, some leave. It's okay. I'm just rapping, just having a conversation about accountability. Accountability. It is important. It is necessary to move the needle. It is necessary. Accountability. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, cutie, what's your duty? I see you. I see you slide on in. Accountability is necessary for us to move the needle. It's necessary. We can't move the needle and hold people accountable. Hey, handsome. We can't move the needle. We can't hold people accountable if we're not reinforcing the boundaries that we say that we set. You have to be willing to say, hey, no, I'm not going to do that. And to my young ladies, when it's relative to dating, setting boundaries and accountability is important from the very, very beginning. Because understand, people come ready to see just how far they can go. So if you say, I'm not into abusive language or whatever the case may be, you got to enforce that. If somebody call you out your name, you got to nip that. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot let those things slide. You can't give a pass on the abusive language. Because guess what? They call you out your name first. Next thing you know, they pushing you. Next thing you know, your arm might be twisted. You might be gripped up. You need to shut those things down. Let me tell another true story real quick. My husband had a real pimp in his family. Rest in peace, Unc. And I remember when we were early in our, I think we were just dating. No, we were married. No, we were married. We were married. So early in our marriage, I'm engaging with Unc. We're at Dad's house out in the backyard, and we're talking, and he's telling me a story, but he's gripping my arm up. Now, mind you, Unc gives me Cat Williams vibes. Permed hair, short, like what? Like real swift and witty, and that dude, right? So I was like, please stop grabbing my arm. Please stop grabbing my arm. And he kept saying, you know what I'm talking about, niece, and gripping my arm up. And I said, if you grab my arm one more dang one time, I'm gonna punch you in your face. You know what he told my husband? I didn't know this until years later. I think he might have been gone by the time my husband told me this. He told my husband, I like her nephew, but she gonna be hard to train. I like her nephew, but she gonna be hard to train. Y'all tap the screen for me and show me some love. It don't cost you nothing. Just tap the screen and the hearts will pop up and it registers at the top for me. But he was able to identify that there's a certain way that a pimp moves. Thank you. I appreciate the love. There's a certain way that a pimp moves. A pimp comes along and he's like, he going to see like just how far he can get away with. How much can he get away with? Are you going to speak up for yourself? He told my husband, I like her, but she's going to be hard to train. But I told my husband in the beginning, here are my deal breakers. We won't call each other out our name. We will not put our hands on each other. We will not say things we can't take back. We will not cheat on one another. We established those things in the beginning. And it is our responsibility to hold each other accountable to make sure we don't go or deviate from that. Because deviating from that is going to result in us not being married. So we do the work. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. We do the work to make sure. Keep tapping, tap the screen, y'all. Tap the screen. Yes. Um, but yeah, we do the work so that people can see marriage really does work. Right? Our daughter can see. Marriage works if you do. It don't always go right. We don't always like each other. We don't always like each other. We be at each other's throats sometimes. Well, I ain't even gonna say at each other's throats. We disagree on things. We are not always aligned. But God, but God, and accountability. Sometimes I might have to say, "Hey, that's not what we agreed upon. You said that you would do this, and you didn't keep your word." Accountability. It's important. It's important. It's important for me to hold him accountable just as important as it is for him to hold me accountable. And it's important for both of us to hold our child or even our adult children accountable. If they are doing wrong, they're going down the wrong path, it's our responsibility to tell them, hey, tighten up. Your slip is showing. For my young people wondering what a slip is, it is a piece of satin like material that goes under dresses to keep it from being see through. It's something old school your grandma, your great grandma may have worn to church, or whenever she wore a dress, we had to wear slips. We had half slips, which was like a skirt, and we had full slips, which would cover the whole dress. But it was a nagging thing that happened that the slip would hang out in the back or the front. It'd be hanging. Sometimes you got to tuck it under your bra or whatever to make sure, because it would be longer than the dress sometimes. But when someone says to you, your slip is showing, that just means tighten up. Get your stuff together. You don't want to walk around looking tacky. You don't want to walk around being tacky. So it's our responsibility to hold those around us accountable. You have nieces, you have nephews, you have cousins, little brothers, little sisters, children. We have to hold them accountable. We have to tell them what's expected of them in the world and hold them to it. If you don't do your chores, you don't get your allowance. Period. And we have to stick to that. We have to be willing to tell them no. We have to be willing to make them check in wherever they are. They won't like it. They're going to give you pushback. That's part of being a parent. That's when you are not the friend. You're friendly, but not the friend. Once your child is an adult of adult age, I tell my daughter, you're grown when you're on your own. When you are of adult age and you live on your own, you have your kids and all that good stuff, you still have to have a level of accountability, of respect and all that for your parents. You do. You have to still be accountable. But the glorious thing is, once you get that age, you actually have the opportunity to become friends with your child. See, while you're raising your child, I tell my daughter, I chose parenting over friendship. I'm not your friend. See, friends, they don't have the tough task of telling you your slip is hanging, you need to tighten up. They gonna tell you, oh, girl, yeah, girl, come on. They probably doing some stuff they want company doing, getting in trouble together. It's not their responsibility to hold you accountable at a young age. They don't think. But as you mature, particularly high school and college age, you want to make sure you surround yourself with a good circle of friends so they can tell you, hey, your slip is showing. Tighten up. Hey, you ain't going to class. What you doing? You want a scholarship. Don't lose your scholarship for out here hanging, partying, whatever, whatever. You can't get white boy wasted during the week and not go to class. That's holding you accountable. That's what picking good friends will do for you. It's supposed to hold each other accountable. Nowadays, if you tell your friend your slip and show and tighten up, they tell that you a hater. You a hater? Because I'm trying to give you honest feedback. You wearing something regularly that just doesn't flatter your shape or whatever. yo, sis, that ain't you. Yo, bro, no, the sneakers got a little hole on the side. You might not want to wear them. They not representing you. You know what I mean? You gotta, hey, you should wipe them down. The white part of the sneaker is dirty. Like, we cleaned our shoes. These kids just toss them. We cleaned our shoes. Get into that. Toothbrush. Even sometimes we use toothpaste. They say toothpaste to keep the white part white. We cleaned our shoes. Well, in today's time, if your shoes aren't clean or your shoelaces are dirty, you're not taking your laces out and washing them. Your friends should be like, yo, look, your laces dirty. Like, today, you can't tell nobody nothing because it's considered hating. It's considered hating. That's just crazy work for me. It's crazy work. But I love the hugs. I think that is Chi-Town Mike down there giving me some love. So I really appreciate it, Chi-Town Mike. I pray that you come back and join me again real soon. And I thank everyone who came and stopped by and joined me, showed love. Please go follow my page. If you enjoyed the little conversation time we had, I really appreciate it. Um, hey, I say at the end of every video, be kind to one another, for you may never know what someone else is going through. You may never know. Now more than ever, we need to be kind. Say hello. Hello, Big Tony. Thank you for joining. But say hello to people when you meet them, especially people that look like you. Say hello to your sisters and brothers. Give them a smile. Say hello to the older folks. We went, real story, real quick. We went to the Chinese Lantern Festival, and we had a little table where we sat and ate our food or whatever. We literally went to go give privilege to someone that looked like us. What does that look like? We got up. Well, first we sat there and tried to identify folks, and we saw a couple with he's on a cane, and they was in line. And my husband went to say, "Hey, y'all need a seat?" They thought he was crazy. Like, no, I think we all right. Like, you ain't setting us up to sit over there. But there were some young ladies that was like, "Yup, we need the seats," and they were blessed to have them. That's what we need to be doing. Go out your way just a little bit to be kind to someone else. You just never know what people are going through. It is tough times for everyone right now. So sometimes you might be the only Bible someone will read. You may be the only light shine in their dark place that day. So be kind to one another. You never know what someone else is going through. Come back and join me. Make sure you hit the like button. Click share or repost. I'm going to post this. I'll save this live. And create a wonderful day. May God bless and keep you. Peace. Now I got to figure out how to close it out, right?